latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Philippines-U.S. forces hold 10th bilateral exercise in West Philippine Sea. Armed Forces of the Philippines and Malaysian Armed Forces chiefs reaffirm strong defense cooperation. President Marcos serves free meals, distributes gifts at walang gutom kitchen. Malacanang rejects Philippine label as terror hotspot, orders Anti-Terrorism Council to stay vigilant. Good day everyone, especially to our troops at Camp Tinilio, Aguinaldo, Quezon City. Today is Thursday, December 18, and we will bring you the latest news from the armed forces and other information around the Philippines. In behalf of Rob Suzon, this is Jhai Simbajon here to bring you today's stories.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the United States Indo-Pacific Command successfully conducted the 10th bilateral maritime cooperative activity in the West Philippine Sea, specifically west of Zambales within the country's exclusive economic zone. Activities conducted include communication check exercise, maritime domain awareness, grade exercise, division tactics, officer of the watch maneuver with photo exercise and a low pass flyby. In addition, the Naval Special Warfare Unit 9 aboard FFG 06 also conducted visit, board search and seizure. During the exercise, the AFP deployed the BRP Miguel Malvar, 3 A-29B Super Tucano, 3 FA-50 fighter jets, and a Sokol search and rescue helicopter with the U.S. The U.S. deployed the guided missile cruiser USS Robert Smalls, MH-60R Seahawk helicopter, and the P-8A Poseidon Maritime Patrol aircraft. Meanwhile, the conduct of the 10th bilateral MCA underscores the shared commitment of the Philippines and the United States to uphold a rules-based Indo-Pacific region in accordance with international law, while affirming support for the freedom of navigation and overflight and contributing to maritime security, regional stability, and a free and Indo-Pacific open.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the Malaysian Armed Forces reaffirmed their strong defense partnership during a courtesy meeting held at Camp Aguinaldo, Quezon City. AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo S. Browner Jr. welcomed MAF Chief of Defense Force General Tan Sri Haj Mod Nizam bin Hajar al Jafar and discussed ways to further strengthen bilateral defense cooperation. The meeting also served as an avenue for both military leaders to exchange views on regional security developments. Meanwhile, General Browner expressed the AFP's appreciation for the long-standing collaboration between the two armed forces, particularly in areas of mutual concern such as maritime security, humanitarian assistance, and disaster response and capacity building initiatives.
DWDD Armed Forces News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now let us hear some information from Mike about 6th Infantry Division conducts send-off ceremony for 1st Brigade Combat Team. Mike?
The 6th Infantry Campilan Division and the Joint Task Force Central GTF Central conducted a send-off ceremony for the 1st Brigade Combat Team held at the 6th ID Grandstand, Camp Siongco yesterday, December 17, 2025. The ceremony marks the completion of 1st BCT's mission within GTF Central operational area and its transition to phase of structured retraining and capability enhancement. In his message, 6th ID Commander Major General Jose Vladimir R. Caraga expressed deep gratitude to the officers and troops of the 1st BCT for their steadfast service and professionalism, and highlighted the unit's role in confronting local terrorist threats and significant contribution to the downfall of violent extremist groups. Meanwhile, Major General Caraga also challenged the troops to keep their winning spirit intact and to remain steadfast in accomplishing the missions instructed to them. This is Mike reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Mike.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And the Department of National Defense Secretary Gilberto C. Teodoro Jr. visited the 10th Infantry Aguila Division at Camp General Manuel T. Yan Sr., Barangay Tuburan, Mawab, Davao de Oro yesterday, December 17, 2025. During the SN's visit to the home of Aguila troopers, he was warmly welcomed by 10th ID Commander Major General Alvin Lozon with Major General Adonis Ariel Orayo, Commander of the Eastern Mindanao Command, and other key leaders of the East Minco. In his talk to troops, Secretary Teodoro highlighted that the DND is maximizing all available resources to further strengthen the capabilities of the Armed Forces of the Philippines under the Comprehensive Archipelagic Defense Operations. Meanwhile, the SND also lauded the 10th ID for its notable accomplishments and continued dedication of AFP units in the Eastern Mindanao region for protecting and securing the respective joint operational areas.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And the 4th Infantry Diamond Division successfully conducted the Civilian Human Resource Capability Building Seminar held at the Alcosebal Hall, Camp Evangelista, Patag, Cagayan de Oro City. The said activity, facilitated by the 4th ID Civ HR Office, aimed to capacitate participants on the organization's policies and procedures, administrative accountability, military customs and traditions, financial literacy, cybersecurity awareness, and the responsible use of social media. During the seminar, subject matter experts from CSC and 4th ID's organic personnel share their expertise, providing guidance, practical insights, and case-based discussions to further reinforce professional standards and organizational values. Meanwhile, the activity concluded through a gift-giving activity dubbed Pamaskong Handog as part of the Army's continuing efforts to build a professional, accountable, and motivated workforce.
DWDD Armed Forces News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now let us hear more updates from MJ about Philippine Military Academy receives plaque of commendation from Cordillera RDRRMC. MJ?
Yes, good noon. The Philippine Military Academy received a plaque of commendation during the GAWIS, or the Governance in Action Working Towards Inclusivity and Safer Cordillera 2025 recognition program held at the Venus Parkview Hotel, Baguio City. The said plaque was honored by the Cordillera Regional Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council and the Office of Civil Defense for PMA's steadfast leadership and unwavering commitment in supporting the Cordillera RDRRMC. The plaque of commendation was received by PMA Assistant Chief of Academy Staff for Civil Military Operations, MAS 7 Lieutenant Colonel Delphine Edmond E. Ilona, Philippine Air Force General Staff Corps, on behalf of the PMA Superintendent. Meanwhile, the recognition affirms PMA's mandate to support humanitarian assistance and disaster response while preparing future officers to understand the security impacts of disasters and climate change. This is MJ reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, MJ.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And troops from the 68th Infantry Kaagapay Battalion actively joined Occidental Mindoro Provincial Government Serbisyong Ganado, pinalapit sa Tao Caravan held in Barangay Labangan, Poblacion, San Jose. The activity aimed to deliver basic services and government assistance closer to the community. During the activity, Kaagapay troops, together with the PNP, Provincial Health Office, and PhilHealth, extended services through medical and dental checkups, free haircut, veterinary services, giving of hygiene kits, food packs, medicines, and other basic needs. Meanwhile, the 68th IB reaffirmed its commitment to community assistance, extending its services beyond security operations.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And for our national news,
DWDD National News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. served free meals and distributed gifts to walk-in clients at the Walang Gutom Kitchen in Pasay City. This is part of the government's efforts to address involuntary hunger and support individuals and families in street situations. In line with a united spirit of generosity and hope, Marcos served meals to beneficiaries and handed out gifts, underscoring the administration's commitment to protecting the most vulnerable sectors. Implemented by Department of Social Welfare and Development, the Walang Gutom Kitchen operates under the Pag-Abot program, serving as a community-based food bank that provides free, nutritious meals to 250 to 300 walk-in clients daily during breakfast and lunch.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
On the other line, let us hear more from Gina regarding 42nd Infantry Battalion troops recover largest NPA arms cache in Bicol. Gina?
Yes, Jhai, troops from the 42nd Infantry Tagapagtanggol Battalion of the 9th Infantry Spear Division successfully recovered a large cache of firearms and ammunition during a joint operation in Barangay Exiban, Labo, Camarines Norte. The said successful operation was conducted with the support of 16th Infantry Maglilingkod Battalion and the Philippine National Police, including the Camarines Norte 2nd Provincial Mobile Force Company and the 91st Special Action Company. Recovered during the operation was a concealed arms cache containing 26 M14 rifles, 2,245 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition, 15 M14 magazines, and 41 M16 magazines. Meanwhile, 9 ID Commander Major General Aldwin I. Almase reiterated its call on the remaining members of the CPP, NPA, NDF to abandon the armed struggle and avail themselves of the government's programs that support peaceful reintegration and a new life for former rebels. This is Gina reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Gina.
DWDD National News.
And the Department of the Interior and Local Government said that about 3.1 million Filipinos in 759 insurgency-cleared barangays have benefited from rural electrification projects. This is funded under the Support to Barangay Development Program from 2022 to 2025. In a statement, the DILG said 463 rural electrification projects have brought power to remote communities through on-grid connections and off-grid solar solutions in the past 3 years. It added that homes that relied on lamps now have electricity, and barangays that used to shut down at sundown are now open to opportunity.
DWDD National News.
And Department of Agrarian Reform officials distributed more than 13,900 electronic land titles and granted debt condemnations to thousands of farmers in the Caraga region. DAR Undersecretary Amihilda Sangkupan and DAR Caraga Director Merlita Capinpuyan led the mass distribution in Vidivesta, Agusan del Norte. The e-titles cover approximately 20,044 hectares and benefit over 10,200 agrarian reform beneficiaries across the region's 5 provinces. Kapinpuyan also distributed certificates of condonation with release of mortgage under the new Agrarian Emancipation Act.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
From our reporter on the ground, let us hear the report of Leonor about 1101st Infantry Brigade conducts send-off ceremony for 111th DRC for retraining. Leonor?
The 1101st Infantry Gagandilan Brigade conducted the send-off ceremony for the 111th Division Reconnaissance Company of the 11th Infantry Division held at Lamitan City Port, Barangay Kulay, Bato, Lamitan City, Basilan. The said ceremony was led by the brigade's executive officer, Lieutenant Colonel Abel Pututan, who conveyed the brigade's appreciation, support, and encouragement to the troops as they embark on their next phase of professional development. The 11th Offers Brigade extends its gratitude to officers and enlisted personnel of the 111th DRC for their dedicated service in Basilan. The 111th DRC, who was assigned in Basilan Province for more than 2 years, played a significant role in supporting security operations and peace-building efforts in the province. This is Leonor Tanap reporting for AFP Community News, 1FP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Leonor.
DWDD National News.
The Department of Public Works and Highways will start the rehabilitation of EDSA before the end of the year. This comes as it aims to complete the work on the entire 23.8-kilometer stretch to 8 months from the original plan of 2 years. Public Works Secretary Vince Dizon said that rehabilitation works would start on the Christmas Eve or December 24 instead of early 2026 to take advantage of the long Christmas break when people will be on vacation and fewer cars on the main thoroughfare. He added that with less disruption, more work can be done at least cost to the government.
DWDD National News.
And the Philippine Red Cross called on to the public to donate blood amid the lean months during which donor turnout is low due to vacations and year-end activities. PRC Chairman Richard Gordon assured the organization's blood supply is not experiencing a shortage. He explained that during the holidays, fewer people come in to donate, but emergencies, surgeries, childbirth, and cancer treatments do not take a holiday. PRC Secretary General Dr. Gwen Pang also pointed out that blood collections typically slow down from December to late January, even as demand remains steady.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now let us hear from Shaira about Western Mindanao Naval Command intercepts nearly 40 million pesos worth of smuggled goods in Western Mindanao. Shaira?
Yes, good afternoon. The Western Mindanao Naval Command reported successful interception of multiple motorized vessels and seizure of large volumes of smuggled cigarettes worth nearly 40 million in 3 separate maritime interdiction operations conducted in Basilan and Zamboanga City waters in December 2025. The first apprehension happened last December 9, 2025 at approximately 3.7 nautical miles northeast of Kaulaunawan Island, Basilan, wherein a vessel was found carrying undocumented tobacco products with total estimated market value of 7,026,000 pesos. The second apprehension happened on December 12, 2025 in the vicinity waters of Ricudo, Zamboanga City, wherein a Jangkong-type motorized vessel was apprehended carrying undocumented tobacco products with an estimated market value of 2,957,700 pesos. Meanwhile, the third apprehension happened last December 14, 2025 during a visit board search and seizure operation at approximately 10.5 nautical miles southeast of Tolonpisa Island, Basilan, that resulted in the discovery of assorted undocumented foreign brand cigarettes with a total estimated market value of 29,902,452 pesos. This is Shai Rivera reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Shaira.
DWDD National News.
And the Philippine National Police has ordered an investigation into the recent visit to the Philippines of the 2 suspects linked to the Bondi Beach mass shooting in Sydney, Australia. PNP Acting Chief Police Lieutenant General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. said this matter is being investigated as they seek to determine the reason behind their visit to the Philippines. He added that the PNP is looking into the places they visited, the persons they interacted with, and where did they stay here in the country. Nartates also said police are now working to establish the possible reason for their travel.
DWDD National News.
And President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has directed the Anti-Terrorism Council to remain vigilant against possible terror threats. This came as he rejected foreign media's misleading characterization of the Philippines as an ISIS training hotspot. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro reminded the foreign media to be discerning and responsible in their reporting, particularly in how they depict the Philippines, stressing that branding the country as terror hub could harm its integrity and image. Castro added that the President orders the ATC to enhance coordination with international partners to safeguard national security continuously.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
Now some information from Meljoy about NOLCOM. Commander honors troops for outstanding service in Northern Luzon. Meljoy?
Yes, Jhai, Northern Luzon Command Commander Lieutenant General Aristotle D. Gonzalez, Philippine Air Force, visited the headquarters of Joint Task Force 5th Infantry Star Troopers Division, Joint Task Group Liberator, and Tactical Operations Group 2 to support and enhance the operational readiness of its unit across Northern Luzon. During the visit, personnel from JTF 5th Infantry Star Troopers Division, JTG Liberator, and Tactical Operations Group 2 were honored for their dedication to internal security and disaster relief across Northern Luzon Command's area. A special ceremony awarded medals to those who demonstrated outstanding performance, highlighting the roles in strengthening security, community engagement, and peace efforts. Commander Northern Luzon Command urged the Star Troopers and Team Liberator to maintain their high standards, keep their discipline sharp, and ensure that every operation they undertake upholds the highest values of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The visit underscored the need for continued evolution and improvement of Northern Luzon Command and its subordinate units preparing for territorial defense operations. Through resolving technical issues and strengthening interoperability, Northern Luzon Command seeks to enhance the security and resilience of Northern Luzon amid evolving regional security conditions. This is Meljoy Nesho Oroco reporting for AFP Community News. One AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Meljoy.
DWDD National News.
And the fiancé of the missing bride-to-be in Quezon City has been tagged as a person of interest. Quezon City Police District spokesperson Police Major Jennifer Ganaban confirmed that Mark R.J. Reyes has been listed as a person of interest in the disappearance of his fiancée Shera De Juan. However, Ganaban clarified that Reyes being considered a POI varies from him being a suspect. She explained that Reyes Mark was the last person De Juan was with, and as her fiancé, he was tagged as a POI.
DWDD National News.
State volcanologists reported a rockfall event at Mayon volcano after lava fragments detached from its summit crater. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology said the rockfall occurred at 9:29 a.m. on December 17 as detected by the seismic and visual monitoring instruments of the Mayon volcano network. The event was caused by the detachment of lava from the summit crater. PHIVOLCS reiterated that Alert Level 1, which indicates low-level unrest, continues to prevail over Mayon.
DWDD National News.
And for our final news, Senator Jingo Estrada has filed a bill that proposes to institutionalize the teaching of the West Philippine Sea among elementary school students. Estrada said it is imperative that institutions not only instill patriotism and pride in the youth but also nurture a full understanding of the legitimate sovereign rights and entitlements under international laws. He added that the children deserve to know the truth about the West Philippine Sea, including its history, importance, and the country's rights over it. Estrada filed Senate Bill No. 1424, also known as the proposed West Philippine Sea Mandatory Education Act, which makes permanent and mandatory the study of the West Philippine Sea in all public and private basic educational institutions nationwide.
DWDD National News.
And that's all for today's broadcast. Thank you for joining us, especially to our audience on our AFP Radio DWDD Facebook page. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for more updates, same time, same station. Again, this is Jhai Simbajon for AFP Community News. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Ito ang DWDD 1134 kHz AM. Balita, impormasyon at musika. Ito ang DWDD AFP Radio. Boses ng Kawal Pilipino.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas.